What is going on, guys? In today's video, I will show you the best endgame staff and dagger build in Throne and Liberty. So in this guide, I will show you a fully maxed setup with the best possible tier 1 gear, traits, masteries, skill rotations, and everything else. And the best part about this is that for every single build choice, I will explain my reasons, also how and where to get this powerful gear. And just overall, you'll be able to see what a fully maxed T1 character will look like and what at the end game you can achieve as well. So if you want to use the best build in the game, then let's get right into it. So let's move over to the build. And for the choice of weapons, we're going to be going with the staff and dagger. This setup is a powerful mage assassin that has insane amount of high single target burst damage. Our main playstyle will revolve around maintaining 10 burning stacks and 20 thundercloud stacks, which will provide exceptional AoE and single target DPS. Due to the high cooldowns in this build, you need plenty of cooldown speed for this playstyle to work. But if you follow instructions and build it right, you'll become unstoppable. Let's take a look at our setup. And first of all, we have our skills. So for defensive skill, we use the Block Blade, while for active skills we get Serial Firebombs, Inferno Wave, Fireball Barrage, Infernal Meteor, Inject Venom, High Focus, Cleaving Moonlight, Judgment Lightning, Ice Spear, Ankle Strike, Brutal Incision, and Inner Peace. As you can see from the gameplay, I don't have all these same skill icons on my bar. It is because the skill icons will change depending on our specialization setup. So Serial Firebombs will turn into the Focused Firebombs, Infernal Meteor will turn into the Hellfire Rain, then Inject Venom will turn into Lightning Infusion, then Ice Spear will turn into the Ice Spear Bombardment. And finally, the Brutal Incision will turn into the Thunderclouds Bombing. And then for passive skills, we get the Assassin's Instincts, Destructive Fang, Wrathful Edge, Asceticism, Mana Amp, Flame Condensation, Forbidden Sanctuary, and Murderous Energy. As for skill upgrade priority, for active skills we focus on the Brutal Incision, Cleaving Moonlight, Judgment Lightning, and High Focus, while for passive skills we focus on the Wrathful Edge, Assassin's Instincts, Forbidden Sanctuary, and Destructive Fang. And then for the rest of your skills, they're not as important, so just upgrade them as you progress through the game. Next we have skill specialization, and for Serial Firebombs we select the Focused Firebombs and Mobility. Then for Fireball Barrage, get the Fireball Frenzy. Then for Inject Venom, select the Lightning Infusion and Cooldown Reduction. Then for Cleaving Moonlight, get the Consecutive Use and Attack Speed Increase. For Ice Spear, get the Ice Spear Bombardment and Damage Increase. For Brutal Incision, select the Thunderclouds Bombing and Cooldown Reduction. For Inferno Wave, get the Cooldown, Consecutive Use, and Burning. Then for Infernal Meteor, get the Hellfire Rain. For High Focus, get the base damage boost. For Judgment Lightning and Inner Peace, don't select anything. And finally for Ankle Strike, get the Offhand Weapon Activation. Next we have Weapon Mastery, and this is how it should look for the staff. So get the middle first, and then the entire bottom row. And this is how it should look like for the dagger, so pretty much the same thing. Get the middle first, and then the whole bottom row. Next, let's take a look at our gear. And if you're looking for a full green or blue gear setup, then I recommend for you to watch my previous build videos. So first off, we're using Aridus' Gnarled Void Staff with traits like Hit Chance, Heavy Attack Chance, and Critical Hit Chance. All gear should be at its max level, and you can get this item by defeating Aridus. Next we have daggers, which are called the Loquirius' Wicked Thorns, and you should use Hit Chance, Heavy Attack Chance, and Critical Hit Chance. You can get it from Cave of Destruction. Next we have Soiling Essence Hat with max health, melee evasion, and cooldown speed. You can get it from armor chests or by defeating Avalos Hydromancer. Next we have Supreme Devotion with mana regen, skill damage resistance, and debuff duration. You can get it from Cave of Destruction. Next we have Plate of the Field General with max health, melee evasion, and buff duration. You can get it from Death's Abyss. Next we have Shadow Harvester Grips with mana regen, magic evasion, and ranged evasion. By using 2 pieces of the death set, we will get 14% critical damage, and you can get it from Temple of Slaughter. Next we have Shadow Harvester Trousers with mana regen, magic evasion, and ranged evasion. You can get it by defeating Junibot. Next we have Sabatons of the Field General with melee evasion, ranged evasion, and movement speed. You can get it from Shadowed Crypt. Next we have Clasp of the Conqueror with max health, skill damage boost, and buff duration. You can get it by opening the Epic Precious Equipment chest or by defeating the Dark Wizard or the Berserk Dark Enforcer. Next we have Ancient Sour Armor Braces with mana regen, skill damage resistance, and debuff duration. You can only get it from purple armor chests. Next we have Amber Dimensional Band with max health, skill damage boost, and buff duration. You can also only get it from purple armor chests. Next we have Band of Universal Power with mana regen, skill damage boost, and buff duration. You can get it from opening armor chests or by defeating the Queen Belandir. And finally we have Belt of Bloodlust with max health, skill damage resistance, and debuff duration. You can get it by defeating Aridus. Last but not least, if at this current moment you only have blue gear, then don't worry because that gear doesn't really matter and you'll soon enough start changing it for the purple pieces. The setup I showed is the best current gear that anyone can farm, but no matter what gear you choose, this build will still work fine. But this setup is just an example of what the best items will look like. Next up we have the stats, and depending on your gear, you should adjust them accordingly. The goal for your endgame build is to reach 50 strength, 40 dexterity, 40 wisdom, and 40 perception. All of these milestones will give us extremely high damage. Alright, next up, let's take a look at our gear upgrades. This game doesn't have a very typical gear progression. By this I mean that you will have to upgrade pretty much anything you get. So we go from gray to green to blue and finally purple. No matter at which stage of progression you're watching this video, just keep upgrading your equipment to their max level. And then when you get better gear, just transfer the experience from the old one to the new one. As for my gear recommendations, when you reach level 50, just farm accessible gear by doing open world dungeons. Also, you want to extract traits from gear for Lucent. On top of that, you'll need to turn important purple gear acquired from co-op dungeons into lithographs, then sell them on the auction house. Last but not least, for your traits, just prioritize the ones that give you the highest damage. And don't forget that you can acquire new traits by using the Trait Unlock Stone, which you can get from the Common Trait Unlock Stone bundle. Then comes our Guardian choice, and these creatures are special transformations that add offensive and defensive buffs to your character for 30 seconds. And for our build, we have two best choices. The first one is the Lady Knight Kamarshia. This Guardian lowers your cooldowns while also giving you a damage shield equal to 50% of your maximum mana. This is a strong defensive Guardian whenever you're struggling to survive. And the other option is the Shade Revenant Steno. This Guardian launches projectiles every second that can crit and heavy attack. Since our build is great at melee range, so this guy works perfectly for our playstyle. And finally, we have come to the gameplay part. So at the beginning of every fight, we start by using the Lightning Infusion, then High Focus, then Hellfire Rain, then Focused Firebombs, then Inferno Wave, then Ankle Strike, then Cleaving Moonlight, then Thundercloud's Bombing, and finish it off with the Fireball Barrage. And now we rinse and repeat. This rotation's main goal is to increase your damage and then activate the Thundercloud's bombing skill for a huge amount of damage. And as we'll have 20 stacks, we can keep repeating this every few seconds. And now for my few last final notes. You must always be at melee range when fighting against bosses. You also want to always have 10 burn stacks. Achieving this 24/7 might be hard unless you have high cooldown speed, so try to focus on that as soon as you can. Also, the Hellfire Rain and Inferno Wave skills can help you refresh the debuffs on the enemies. On top of this, keep using Fireball Barrage and Ice Spear Bombardment, which will help you to easily upkeep the high amount of Thundercloud stacks. And finally, always use Cleaving Moonlight for the additional attack speed buff. Just don't spend your second charge until the attack speed buff is about to expire, because using the skill twice in a row will consume the buff itself. And that's about it. So if you enjoyed this video, click like, subscribe, and comment. If you're interested in more content, check out my channel and I'll see you in the next one. So take it easy, peace.